In the last lesson, we learnt how we could set the properties of different objects, or sprites, on a computer. We've also learnt how real-life objects can have actions. For example, how a television can have the action change channel, which will alter the property channel. In this lesson, we're going to explore some of the different actions a computer sprite may have. Let's start by looking at how we can use an action to alter a property. Here we have our cat sprite. We're going to change the property size by using a change size action. To do this, we first select our cat sprite from our list of sprites, and then find the change size action block from the library of programming blocks. Since change size is to do with how the sprite looks, we will find this in the looks menu. Each of these is a programming action block, a bit of code that tells our sprite to carry out an action. Let's select the change size action and drag this into our programming code area. Before we can run this code, we need an event to trigger it to run. This means we need something to tell the program when to change the size of the sprite. We access these from the Events menu. We will explore more of these in future lessons, but for the time being we're going to select the first event, when green flag is clicked. The green flag is our Go button. When we click it, our program starts to run. To use this event as the trigger for our change size code, we simply drag it into our programming area, then drag the change size action block into place. Notice how the block clicks into place. We're now ready to run our first program. As you can see, when we click on the green flag to run our program, the size of our sprite increases. Each time we click on the green flag, this block of code runs and our sprite gets bigger. Let's get rid of this block of code so we can explore another. To remove the change size action, we simply click and drag it out of the programming sequence and drop it into some empty space. We can then right-click on it to delete it. Let's now have a look at changing another property, this time the costume of our sprite. We're going to use the action Next Costume to tell our sprite to change to the next costume. Remember, costumes are used to store what the sprite may look like. To run this, we simply drag it into our programming area and drop it in place, clicking it onto the bottom of the Game Start event. Let's review what will happen now when we run our program. Every time the green flag is clicked, the sprite will be told to change to the next costume. Let's see it in action. As you can see, our sprite is changing costumes every time the program is run. For our cat sprite, this can be used to make it look like it is running. Let's delete the next costume action and explore one final action, this time to make the sprite move. Since this action is to do with motion, another word for movement, we will find it under the Motion tab. Let's drag and drop the Move block and click it into place. As you can see, when we run our program now, our sprite moves across the screen. So that shows how we can use programming action blocks to change a property of a sprite or to make it do something.